Hello there, you're now with me, Handy Gui, and welcome to your 5 p.m. English news on TVS. Now let's dive into the topics for today. 5 local councils in Sarawak, namely Kuching City South Council MBKS, Miri City Council MCC, Padawan Municipal Council MPP, Kota Semarahan Municipal Council MPKS, and Sibu Municipal Council SMC will have their own traffic wardens in the near future. Deputy Premier of Sarawak Datuk Sri Dr. Sim Kui Hian said the job training will be provided by the Royal Malaysian Police. He added that this move aims to build the state's local council's capacity, as well as to help with traffic congestion in cities and towns. There have been talks on the plan to set up a big community correctional center in Sarawak. Malaysia's Prison Commissioner General, Dr. Nordin Muhammad, said the prison department is collaborating with Sarawak Small and Medium Enterprise SME Association to make this a reality. As such, several companies are already engaging 20 to 30 prison inmates as workers, and the department hope it can be expanded. Nordin added that his team has been eyeing a big correctional center provided by the community, which is believed to be able to accommodate approximately 300 inmates to be gainfully employed while serving out their sentences. In addition, the inmates would receive full boarding, food, and salary. Among the reasons to set up correctional centers, he added, are to reduce prison overcrowding and recidivism. As such, he emphasized on community support to ensure the success of such rehabilitation programs so ex-prisoners can become useful citizens who contribute to the nation. Additionally, he added that having one big correctional facility in each state would allow officers to focus on intervention programs to effectively reduce recidivism. For records, Sarawak prisons recorded the lowest recidivism rate at 0.6% or 52 individuals as of May this year. The suspension of slaughtering approval granted to Thomas Foods International Lubertel Australia will not affect the supply of beef, especially for AIDILADHA. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Dato' Idris Ahmad, said it was because the high demand for this sacrificial activity in conjunction with the festival was particularly for live cows. On the status of the suspension, Idris said it was still in the investigation process. On May 14, it was reported that the slaughtering approval granted by Malaysia to the halal-certified company had been suspended with immediate effect until a thorough investigation was done. Department of Islamic Development Malaysia JAKIM Director General Dato' Hakimah Muhammad Yusuf was quoted as saying that the decision was made following a special meeting between the Department of Veterinary Services JAKIM and the Australian authority, namely the Department of Agriculture, Water and the Environment, on May 13. Welcome back. Now, economists have hailed the Goods and Services Tax (GST) as better than current Sales and Services Tax (SST) when it comes to contributing to the government's coffers. Studies showed the GST offered almost double the tax revenue compared to SST, with more than 140 countries across the world implementing some form of a value-added tax system similar to GST. Earlier in 2015, a 6% GST was introduced but was abolished when Pakatan Harapan took over the federal government and replaced it with the current SST system in 2018. For more insight, let's hear it from Juwai IQI Chief Economist, Mr. Shan Said.
I think in my opinion, GST is a consumption-oriented tax. It is very effective. 147 countries have implemented GST. If you were to ask me GST versus SST, SST has got components of inefficiencies and it has not been very effective, whereas GST is very simple and straightforward. And in 2017, government made a lot of revenues by imposing GST. So I think GST is one variable the government is considering, and if GST is implemented, I think it is more effective as compared to SST, because SST is not effective and it is not consumer friendly.
The ringgit is expected to remain soft against the US dollar next week, driven by a bearish outlook on the global economic front. Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Muhammad Afzan Nizam Abdul Rashid said talks of impending economic slowdown going forward are expected to continue to take a center stage. For the week just ended, the ringgit was traded mixed against the US dollar amid concern over the possible interest rate hike by central banks around the world to curb rising inflation. The United States Federal Open Market Committee FOMC meeting this week came out with a surprise, which saw the U.S. Federal Reserve FED decide to raise its interest rate by 0.7% to a range of 1.50 to 1.75%. As such, the persistently high inflation compelled the central bank to deliver its biggest hike at a single meeting since 1994. The move was then followed by central banks across Europe, which raised their interest rates on Thursday, June 16, and signaled at even higher borrowing costs to come to tame soaring inflation that is eroding savings and squeezing corporate profits. On a weekly basis, the ringgit was almost flat against the greenback on Friday compared to a week earlier. Meanwhile, the local note was traded higher against a basket of major currencies on a Friday-to-Friday basis. The ringgit was higher against the Singapore dollar a week earlier and rose vis-a-vis the Japanese yen. It appreciated against the euro and strengthened versus the British pound. After nearly 27 years, an iconic Microsoft product is finally being put to rest. Internet Explorer is now officially incompatible with Microsoft products, as announced by the company on Wednesday, June 15. The move comes over a year after Microsoft first announced its intention to phase out Internet Explorer from its products. Announced last year, the official retirement of Internet Explorer on June 15, 2022 comes 26 years and 10 months after its release on August 15, 1995, back when the public-facing Internet was still in its infancy. From almost the very beginning, it courted controversy. After the launch of Windows 95, also in August 1995, Microsoft started bundling Internet Explorer with OEM versions of the operating system. However, support for the final version, Internet Explorer 11, has been maintained even though most people have already moved elsewhere. By ending support, this means important security updates and bug fixes will no longer be rolled out. It has been reported that only 0.45% of Internet users still use the Internet Explorer browser. Meanwhile, in South Korea, the IE browser was given a proper burial. For South Korean software engineer Jung Ki-young, the recent retirement of Microsoft Corporation Internet Explorer browser meant an end to his worst nightmare of the past 25 years. To celebrate his liberation from what he called a love-hate relationship with the browser, he spent a month and 430,000 won, about 1,500 ringgit, ordering a special headstone.
네, 인터넷 익스플로러는 그 크롬에 비해서 인터넷 표준을 지키는 게 아니라 자기만의 다른 표준이 있기 때문에 그런 거에 대해서 이제 맞추기가 힘들어서 제가 작업하기에는 좀 많이 불편함이 있었죠. 그래서 이번 인터넷 익스플로러 종료는 개인적으로는 되게 호상이라고 생각합니다. 실제로 그 작업도 한 1.5배 정도 걸려서 뭐 되게 저를 많이 힘들게 했지만 그래도 인터넷 익스플로러 자체가 되게 시대가 가는 의미가 있잖아요. 그리고 의미도 있고 굉장히 역할이 있었기 때문에 뭐 저한테는 애정과 애정의 관계라고 볼 수 있겠습니다.
Displayed at a cafe run by his brother, a photo of the tombstone marked with the browser's signature logo quickly went viral on social media sites.
한 달 전부터 이제 소식을 듣고 이걸로 이제 뭐 드립을 치면 정말 사람들을 재밌게 해줄 수 있겠다 싶어서 이제 한 달 전부터 준비를 했고요. 이 묘비를 만들면서도 이제 그 석공분들이 이게 진짜냐고 왜 사람 이름이 아니고 이상한 거냐고 물어볼 정도로 했는데 그런 것도 저는 그런 과정이 되게 재밌었던 것 같아요. 그리고 인터넷 익스플로러는 저한테 되게 고마운 존재죠. 왜냐면은 제가 이제 전 세계 사람들을 웃길 수 있게 만들어준 고마운 프로그램이니까요.
Internet Explorer was a long-time market leader since its 1995 launch, but started losing out to Google's Chrome in the late 2000s. In South Korea, one of the most wired countries in the world, it was still the default browser for most government, banking, and shopping sites until recently. And that feature concludes News at 5. Once again, I'm Handy Gui. Stay safe. Have a pleasant day.